You're very welcome here today on Satan's Welfare Reform Halloween Horror Tour. We're going to be travelling around some of the buildings in Belfast where people are having horrors inflicted upon them every day of the week by welfare reform policy. So that'll include places where Steps to Success takes place, thousands of people getting subjected to the Back to Work programme under threat of financial sanction. It'll include places like the Capita building where sick and disabled people are being assessed or interrogated, as they would see it, on a daily basis about their illnesses and then having their only sources of income removed afterwards. And then we'll be making a bit of a trip round to the government department building that is responsible for welfare reform and implementing it despite calls across the board for human rights checks and balances. The first award of the day for the Right to Work, Right to Welfare campaign. Can I get a big boo? Welfare reform is a story every day of the week about the horrors that are being inflicted upon people. We're a bit tongue-in-cheek here today, as you can see. Obviously, the people who will be taking this tour have been in every one of these buildings that we're visiting today and have experienced these processes firsthand. So today, on Halloween, we're poking a bit of fun at this issue, but we're making a very serious point as well. Welfare reform is a horror show, and these departments, these private companies, need to be held accountable for the policies that they're rolling out that are impacting upon people. Belfast has more than 15 food banks in this city now. People who can't afford to eat reliant on charity. That's a direct result of welfare reform, and we're poking fun at it today, but tomorrow we've got a serious campaign about reforming that whole thing and pushing for accountability from the Department for Communities and the private corporations that are being hired to deliver welfare reform.
Hello, it's the devil. Yes, Satan, Beelzebub, King of Darkness. I'm here with your award. Many people who are in the crowd here today have been in the doors of this building and subjected to PIP assessments and the degrading interrogations that go on in relation to sick and disabled people.
We're demonstrating against the way that we're treated. Human beings, we're treated like cattle. In fact, cattle are probably treated better. The way the welfare system is at the moment, it's very draconian. And even, I think you could actually even get into the workhouse before you could actually get benefits at the moment. If you just have one bit of human, empathy for them and you think everything's going all right, and then you receive a letter to say that you have no points, it's so demoralising. It makes you just want to just end. That's it. That's how it makes you. This welfare reform is costing lives.
In 2012, I was sent for an assessment, a PIPS assessment, and I was turned down. I was put off the second dole, and I was told I was fit for work. At the time, I had arthritis, angina, I had a heart attack in 2007. I was type 2 diabetes, I had bad nerves, I had high blood pressure, I had cholesterol. I was taking 43 tablets a day, but they said I was fit for work because I was assessed by someone who is not medically qualified, although they say they are. I then went to the PPR offices where I met up with a group that was just starting out, the Right to Work, Right to Welfare, and from then I've been working with the group since 2012.
The Steps to Failure Award has been awarded to inhumane NGOs for torturing the unemployed consistently on my behalf.
Well, the Right to Work, Right to Welfare group have been engaging directly with government on this issue for 5 years, have met with permanent secretaries, have met with private companies, have injected some of the human rights principles that they have developed into the welfare system and made success. They've lowered sanctions and they've created employment. What we're doing today is to say that the whole thing is a joke. It is ridiculous, and obviously the theatrics today is shining a light in that way. It is absolutely ridiculous that in this day and age we have a system in place that drives so many people into abject poverty, despair and ill health. I mean, the United Nations Special Rapporteur on Extreme Poverty came out and called it walking zombie-like into a digital apocalypse. So he's saying it, we're saying it, the Right to Work group are saying it, and today we're saying it with a bit of fun, but also empowering people as well. A lot of the people here today would be fearful to be seen outside these institutions and organisations without a bit of makeup on and without a mask. So it's making that point as well, that people are hidden in the shadows, hidden in the dark, and this issue can't remain in the dark.
Up until a few years ago, I was just a normal person living in suburbia, and my son died at 19. I have 5 or 6 different conditions. It just worsened with the stress of it. 18 months after that, my husband died. I then decided I had to put in for benefits as I'm a sole carer for my son who's severe learning difficulties and autism. I got told in one letter, it actually said that it's a lifestyle choice that I choose not to get out of bed, and even though I'd lost some family members, it didn't impact on my life. This is my husband and my son you're talking about, and they're telling me, see, when you get those letters, and they always arrive on a Saturday or a Friday when you can't do anything about it. It leaves you the whole weekend. It's people's mental health goes down so fast.
All these forms are made for you to fail. All the answers is made for you to fail your assessment. So what you got to do is you got to go to the advice centre whenever you get any of these things. Now the advice centres, unfortunately, are being under-financed by the Department of Communities. The advice centres are closing down. Food banks are opening up. More and more food banks are opening up because people's getting put off the sick under the dole, and then they're getting sanctioned because they fail to turn up for an appointment, which someone couldn't read and write. Because they get a letter, they didn't know what it is. So, you mean, those people are getting sanctioned, and it's totally wrong. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to highlight it, try to help them, trying to show them where to go, give them advice. And today we've went around all these different places, Inges and Canada, who are private companies who are making millions of pounds on the back of the weak, disabled, unemployed, sick people. And I think it's totally a disgrace and should cease forthwith. And the only people who can sort that out is the Department of Communities.
The Right to Work, Right to Welfare group have been campaigning for a human rights checklist to be implemented. That has been supported by every single elected institution in this state. All 11 councils have called on the Permanent Secretary of the Department for Communities to implement a human rights checklist. She refuses. So when they refuse to listen, we have to take steps to make people listen, and that's part of what we're doing here today, exercising democratic right to protest, theatrics and all of that, but it's really about shining a light on an issue that some people would prefer was kept in the dark.
We just want to be a fair and honest system, that when you find yourself in a situation like myself that you never thought you'd ever be in, there's a system there to help you, and instead it's there to literally to hinder you, to make you feel like worthless, make you feel rubbish about yourself, feel like you're lying, or you're trying to get something you're not entitled to. We're entitled to it. If you're entitled to it, then you should have a fair say.